it's Pam here. It is August the 2nd, and oh, I have to take a second and smell these flowers. These are peonies from my garden, and they're huge. Look at the size of them. Look at the size of that. I love these flowers, and they smell so nice. I have two peony bushes in my front garden. Like, that is just one flower. Look at the size of that thing. I have two of these in my front garden, and I love them. One planted on either side of my house, and these remind me so much of my grandmother. She used to have peony bushes the entire way down the front of her side of her driveway, and they would come out and bloom every summer, and they were beautiful. They don't last very long here because the petals are kind of delicate, and you get one really good rain and they just get beaten down. But oh, I just love them, so I couldn't help but show them to you. I mean, like, these flowers are almost the size of my head, right? Yeah. Anyway, so every year I tend to cut a few and put them in the house because I love the smell of them. I love the look of them, and they're just pretty. And we get a very short summer here, so it's always nice to have a little something extra, some fresh flowers in the house when we can. I also have a lilac in the backyard that is in bloom at the moment. Everything seems to be a little late this year. Typically my peonies are bloom, I would think early or mid-July at the latest. I had one of the bushes came out in bloom last week, and the other one only just came out this week. So, and it still has buds on it that are still opening. So we're doing good. So let's talk about stitching. I've got lots of stuff to share with you. Of course, we've surpassed the end of the month, and I had a giveaway last month that I mentioned I was going to do, and I was going to do it at the end of July. So that's now over and done with. I have all of the names listed here. We're going to do a random draw for those charts and the needle minder that I was going to give away. And what else? And we're just going to talk about my general stitching and what I've done for the last couple of weeks since I've been here, and what my plans are for the early part of August. So let's get started. In July, I participated in the Full Coverage Fanatics on Facebook. They did a Tour de France stitching challenge, and you could sign up for different colored jerseys. I can't remember what each one was for, but I know the yellow jersey, which is what I signed up for, was that you started on the 6th of July, which is the first day of the Tour de France, and you stitched for every single day that the cyclists rode their bikes. So for every stage of the tour, if they cycled 192 kilometers, you had to stitch 192 kilometers. Then day 2, if they did 214 kilometers, you also had to stitch 214 stitches, and so on and so forth. So each stitch represented 1 kilometer that they rode. I did the whole thing. I did the yellow jersey, and I actually did more than was required, which kind of surprised me because I had some other stitching going on as well. This was the little calendar that they did up in the Facebook group. There were a couple of rest days included, which you could use to catch up if you were behind in your stitches. All total, if you did the entire thing, you would have done 3,462 stitches. I actually completed 4,081 stitches. Like, oh, look at that. 4,081 stitches. Because some days, you know, if there was 177 stitches, I stitched 205, so on and so forth. Like, I just, wherever my thread ended sort of thing. So what I stitched all of those stitches on was Jay's Folk Witch. So I still have it on my lap stand because in the summertime, I like to stitch up here next to the patio door if I'm inside because I can get a nice breeze, or I'll go sit on my deck for an hour and stitch if it's not too hot. So I have this on my lap stand because it's nice and easy. And this is what I did. So in order to keep it simple, I guess, or easy for the challenge, I decided to just work on the green background. That way I didn't have to deal with confetti stitching in between. And then when I got all the green background done on this side, so this is now the bottom of the piece. This is as far as it goes. Once I got all this green stitching done, I went back and this page break is right here. And I actually stitched all of this brown in as well. So that is a lot of stitches. 4,081 to be exact. So there you go. That is how much I did in July during the Tour de France for this piece. Now, because I accomplished so much on that piece for that month, I've decided that for August, I'm going to attempt to do something similar. I'm going to attempt to put in at least 150 stitches a day on this piece if I can. If not 150, at least a length of floss or something. That way, at the end of August, I'll have another big chunk completed. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to start that today, even though it's the 2nd of August and I'm a day over, but that doesn't matter. There's no cross-stitching police, right? So I'm going to start that today and see how much I can get done in August as well, carrying on with that piece. The second thing I stitched on for the last week and a bit was my Elvis chart. This is a chart that is by Mystic Stitch. Okay, it's called Roustabout, Elvis Presley. Okay, there we go. This is what the finished design is going to look like. It's a monochromatic piece. And when I picked this up, this was given to me by Allie, by the way, from Allie's Stitching Studio. Because she knows how much my mother absolutely adores Elvis. When I picked this up, I had one page completed the last time, which was this big block here. And Allie had added, sorry, my camera keeps trying to focus. Allie had added some of these stitches here across the black to here. So I have since I picked this up this week, have added in a lot of these stitches on the top of this page, a little in through, because this is the top of his head. And I also added some more of the solid black for his hair, but this is the end of his head. So this is one side of his head to the other side, like from his temple to his temple, I guess, so to speak. It is this big black section right across here, okay? So there you go. That is what I have added into this piece in my last week and a half or so of stitching on it. I've been stitching on that on my days off when it's been too hot outside and I've wanted to come in. I know some of you are going to laugh at that because we don't typically have hot weather in Newfoundland, but it has been really nice the last week. Okay, like we've only just started to get summer, I'll be honest. Like up until the 3rd week of July, it was horrible here. We had a couple of days of nice weather. Other than that, it totally sucked. So it's only been the last few days that it's been hot every day, and I love it. I'm trying to take advantage of it while I can. And I only have to work a couple of night shifts this week, and then I'm on vacation for like 12 days. So I'm hoping to get some hiking in and, Yeah. So my stitching might suffer for the first couple weeks of August, but that's it. Life's too short. So realistically, that's kind of all the cross stitching I've done in the last 2 weeks, which is a lot because I put a lot of stitches into Folk Witch and the last 2 weeks of July, and I've put a fair number of stitches into that Elvis piece for the last week and a half. So that is my stitching. Oh, also, because I did the Tour de France and I was concentrating on that piece, I also hit my 2,400 stitches for the 2,400 stitches per month challenge in Full Coverage Fanatics as well. So I'm caught up with that for July. So if I continue now with it in August, doing 150 or so stitches a day, I shouldn't have any trouble hitting my August 2,400 stitches as well. And I'll be able to have that done on time by the end of August. So I've spoken about my stitching. I'm just crossing off some things here as we go. Tour de France challenge and my 2,400 stitches. So that's that. Let's jump to my knitting. In my last video, I mentioned that I had ripped out my everyday shawl, which used to be called the Yoga Shawl by Andrea Mowry, but now it's called the Everyday Shawl. She changed the name on it and updated some of her patterns. I almost have the full chevron piece finished again, the border at the bottom. So I have one more full repeat. I have one more full repeat of this chevron. Oh, this is my little progress keeper. It's turned backwards. A little ladybug. Anyway, this is the chevron pattern at the bottom of the shawl, or on the end of the shawl, I should say, or wrap. And I'm a lot more pleased with how this is turning out. I love the squishiness of this fabric now that I'm holding my yarn double, because this yarn was very thin yarn, but I do like it. And I just have one more repeat to do on this chevron border before I finish it up, and it goes into plain garter stitch. So knit one side, purl back, knit one side, purl back, that kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to getting to that mindless stitching. For August month, my intent with this stitching, because I would love to have this shawl ready for the fall, and I'm not a fast knitter. I only just taught myself how to knit this past year, and I am still learning. I am an English style knitter. I throw my yarn with my right hand rather than do continental knitting. I have tried continental knitting. I can see how it would be faster, but I'm too inconsistent with my gauge with continental knitting at the moment. So I'm much more comfortable doing the English style. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. If it ain't broken, why fix it, right? So Bombed Yarns, who I have mentioned previously in other videos, and that's where I got the lovely yarn when I was in Australia. They are hosting on their Facebook page, and I think on their Instagram as well, they are hosting a 20-minute a day challenge. So they're challenging everybody for the month of August to nominate a piece that they would like to get some progress on, and knit at least a minimum of 20 minutes a day every day for the month of August on that piece. 20 minutes for me, I think, is not enough, because in 20 minutes I can only get about a row and a bit done, maybe, because this is quite wide. There's a lot of stitches on this. So I decided I'm going to try and do 30 minutes a day. And if I can do 30 minutes a day on this, I should have a good chunk done. Once I get to the garter stitching, it's going to go a lot faster, I think. And if I can commit to doing 30 minutes a day on this for the month of August, I should see some really good progress. So what I did yesterday, the 1st of August, I started here and I put my little progress keep on where I started so that I can see how much I actually managed to accomplish in the month of August. So that's where I am on that piece. So I'll put a link in the description down below for stuff I've mentioned as well, like bombed yarns. Lovely indie dye company in Australia. One of the creators is actually also a cross stitcher from Tasmania. Lovely people and lovely yarn. So yeah, so you can check them out. And if you're a knitter and you want to participate in the challenge, you can do that as well. So that is my knitting progress for now. And that's my plan for what I plan to do in August with my knitting. What I plan to do for August with my stitching, let me just pop back to stitching for a minute. I started this piece when, you have to excuse the crinkling, I started this piece when I was in Australia with Ali because her and I both have this chart. It is from a digital magazine that is no longer available, but it was a mystery sampler that was put out by Long Dog Samplers way back in, well, this came out, it was released in 4 parts of this, The Gift of Stitching magazine. It was released in 4 parts in January, February, March, and April of 2007. So I've printed them off. I've just got a crappy black and white like laser printer. It's called the 18th Century Band Sampler by Long Dog Samplers. And I started this with Ali while I was in Australia because she was on her Long Dog Sampler kick at that time and was stitching everything Long Dog. And this was what I had gotten accomplished while I was there. So I started the first, because it's a band sampler. So I had started the first band and the second band. Look at those adorable little ducks. Oh my God, they are too cute. Okay, and that's the top one. So I started the top band and the second band just because I wanted to see, and the top band is stitched all the way across. So then the side border will come down here. So I wanted to make sure, because I started in the corner, I wanted to make sure I had enough space along. Now I'm going to stitch down the sides some so I can see what each band brings, and then I'll go back and finish the bands out. So for the first week of August, oh, we're not focusing. There we go. For the first week of August now, I'll add 150 stitches to my Folk Witch piece or strand of floss or whatever it may be. And then I'm going to work on this piece because I can just pop this into my hoop. I can sit on the deck and stitch. I can be inside. I can take it with me if I'm going somewhere. Easy to stitch on. This is a piece of 28 count. Now this is fabric I bought in Australia. 28 count Monika. M-O-N-I-K-A. I hadn't heard of that before, but it's an even weave fabric. So this is 28 count, and I'm stitching it 2 over 2, so it's like a 14 count really. So there you go. That is what I'm going to concentrate on for the next couple weeks in August until my next update video. So last but not least, we're going to talk about another little project I did. I'm all over the place today, guys. It's summer. My head is just not with it, okay? I got a request from a friend of mine. One of her girlfriends saw a post of a bookmark that was called a book rat. It is it's basically a little stuffed rat's head with this long flat body and little feet on either end and a squiggly tail. And you can put him in the book, and he lays flat in the book with his head sticking out on one side and his little feet and tail. And when you close the book, it looks like he's been flattened. She wanted one stitched for her kid, and my friend sent me a request and said, you know, would you mind, could you stitch this, or do you think you could stitch it? And I said, sure, no problem. Let's see if I have a picture. So I just wanted to take a quick little video of this little guy that I crocheted up for a friend who wanted one for her friend's son, who is an avid reader, and it is a book rat. He's got these cute little fingery claws, and he's long and flat as the bookmark portion, and he's got this little ratty tail and two little back legs. And he goes inside your book. Hang on. I'm doing this one-handed. Goes inside your book like so. And because it's flat, he fits in. And he holds your place in your book. Little head out the top. Oh, little feet and tail out the bottom. So there you have it. There you go. Project, and I'll probably try to get a couple more done now for her over the next week or two while I'm on vacation. Just wanted to throw that in there. So without further ado, let's talk about the giveaway. I had put up a giveaway at the beginning of July, in my beginning of July video, and basically to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to those of you who are returning to my channel to watch all the time. Thank you to all of you who are new to my channel and decide to hang out and spend a bit of time with me. I love stitching. I love crafting, period. Like anything having to do with fiber, yarn, crochet, knitting. I don't sew per se, but I mean, I've tried my hand at a few things. Scrapbooking, paper crafting. I haven't done a whole lot of that to show on my channel, but I do a little bit of everything. And I get something in my, as my mother would say, you get something in your craw and you just go with it. So I don't even know where that saying comes from. You get something in your craw. Anyway. Anywho, I don't know if that's a Newfoundland saying or not. I decided I would do a giveaway last month, and I would let it run for the entire month of July, because with vacations and summer, I figured not everybody would be watching videos regularly, and it would give more people an opportunity to see the video that I had put up with the items for the giveaway. So I've gone through the lists, and we're going to do the draws. So let me just grab the items I had for giveaway here. And we're going to do a little random number generator and get these things out to people, because I'm so excited. I want everybody to be pleased and have an opportunity to get something. So let's see. Let's start with the this chart. I had said that this one would be up for giveaway. I'm going to use a random number generator. Let me just go back to my random.org. Here we go. So there were 7 people that were interested in the Angels chart. So I'm going to put in here a number between 1 and 7. And we're going to hit generate. And there you go. You can see the result is number 3. And number 3 is Little Miss Sunshine 85. So there you go. You have won the angel chart. So what I'll do, you left a note on my video. I'll go back and leave a comment, a reply to your message. And And then you can just send me, you can either email me or send me a direct message through Instagram or something like that, your address, your mailing address, so I can get this in the mail to you. So that's item number 1. Move that out of the way. Item number 2 is the Dreamsicles chart. Okay, and for this one, we had 1, 2, 3. We had 6 people interested in this one. I'm going to go back, pick a number between 1 and 6. Generate. Here we go. And this one says it's number 1. So number 1 for that is Mel Patton. And I'm going to put these names on the screen as well. So Mel, I will also leave a reply to your comment on my last video about this chart. And you can send me your address and I'll get that out to you. Okay, next one. Heirloom Bouquet. And this one, these were some lovely flowers actually. I already have flowers similar to this stitched in my house. It's actually a trellis of wild roses. So I knew it was something I was not going to stitch. I had 15 people interested in this chart. And so pick a number between 1 and 15. There we go. And it's number 10. That one is going to be Darlene Llewellyn Konecki. I don't know if I'm pronouncing, I could be totally butchering that. So I'm going to put your name on the screen. And I will also reply to your message on my last video. And the 4th chart is this Tawny Modernist, The Last Unicorn chart. This is not in a package. It was just loose. It's 2 pieces. Okay. It wasn't ripped in 2. It's 2 pieces. And where's the unicorn list? Here's the unicorn list. I had 29 people interested in this. So we're just going to enter that. Enter that. So here we go. That's generating number 7. So between 1 and 20. So the winner's number 7. And that is Vicky Pickstock. So Vicky, congratulations. I will get that out in the mail to you. I'll leave a message for you and you can respond. Now, last but not least, by far, I had way more entries for this lovely thing. The lovely needle minder, Little Red House needle minder, that was kindly donated by Patty from 4 Boys and an NL Girl. She has a shop on Etsy. She is local. She's a Newfoundland girl. And she has a shop on Etsy called 4 Boys and an NL Girl. She also has her own website. I think that's called 4 Boys and an NL Girl Designs. You can see on there if it will. It's not going to focus, but anyway, I'll put all of her details below. This is a lovely, cute little needle minder. So I said to everyone that you could put a note on my last video, and if you had Instagram, you could also leave a note on my Instagram to get an extra entry. And I ended up with 94 responses for this needle minder. So we're going to pick between 1 and 94. And it is going to be number 77. So let's see who 77 is. 77. 77, I recognize this name because she follows me on Instagram and comments on lots of my stuff. It's P.I. Roberts 16. So there you go. That is all my giveaways. I will get in touch with you on Instagram through direct message, and you can send me your address so I can get that needle minder in the mail to you. Thank you everyone for participating who was interested in the giveaways. I am hoping to do maybe another giveaway in the fall once I have the opportunity to go through my stash again and pull out some other charts that I know I'm not going to stitch and give them homes to people who will like to stitch them. So I hope everyone's having a fabulous day. I did have a couple of stash acquisitions, but I'm going to do a separate video just for those because the things that I purchased, the things that I ordered, I got from a Russian Etsy seller, and her site is fabulous. Her response is amazing. Excellent customer service, and I told her that I would do a video for her. She's trying to, I guess, expand her business into North America for Canada and the United States. She has a fairly good business already in Russia, and I told her I'd help her out, and she's given me a coupon code that I can pass on to any of my followers who want to order items from her. So I'm going to do a separate video about that, just so I can, I guess, focus just on her store and talk a little bit about that separately. Anyway, everyone, have a fabulous day. Enjoy the summer wherever you are, or if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, I hope you're having a pretty good winter and it's not too bad. And we'll chat with you again in a couple of weeks. Happy stitching!